Friday, 27th of January at 12, I looked at the time, 12:12 midday, Western Australia. It's a hot day today. It's a beautiful, 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 beautiful sunny day. I will post this video. I'm going to create this video. I've done about 5 or 6 or 8 videos in the last few days, and they've all been quite emotional, very raw, and I'm going to have to go through them very carefully to decide if I'm going to put them on my YouTube, because I've got to be very careful when I use names for legality purposes and various things like that, and just a respect issue of others. But basically, sometimes when I'm really raw and really emotional, I say it as it is, you know. So anyways, I thought I'd do this do this video to post on my YouTube account because it's about time I updated you guys. My subscriptions are going up. I urge anyone that sees value in these videos or wants to see me succeed and become monetized to subscribe. Subscribe and share my YouTube channels. I've got big plans for this YouTube channel. This has been a vision of mine for look, at least 8 years, but it all started in 1998. So I've forgotten what age I was then. I think I was 25 or 26 or something. So this has been a very, 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 very long dream of mine, and I have been working towards it for a very, very, very long time. This bookshelf here and this table here, and these 2 white boxes here, you can see these 2 white boxes. They are full of my toolkit. They are not unpacked yet because I need to bring the filing cabinet in here. I need to bring the office desk in here, and I need to get this room finished, okay? This library room, which I started this time last year in preparation for getting this cupboard brought up, which was a built-in cupboard. We purchased it, and it had to be built in place. It's basically floor to wall, ceiling, wall to wall, built in place. It's a really big cupboard. It might not look it in the video, but we purchased it for this room. It's connected to the wall. It's really solid, and I've painted the wall. I did the cornice. Oh, where's my hand? I did the cornices and that wall and the skirtings behind it about this time last year, thinking that this room would be really fast and simple, and I'd have the writing space up and running ASAP, boom, 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 I'd be in action, boom, boom, boom. And then, as you know from so many of my lives and my posts and various things like that, this room thwarted me. It thwarted me in so many ways, and it's taught me so much. So this room is my diligence room. This room forevermore shall be known as my resilience and diligence room. And the people that know my story and they come and see this room in person, they love it. It's like such a stunning room. It's got such stunning views of the mountains. And everyone's like, oh, this is such a beautiful room. Even as it looks now, they go, oh, this is such a beautiful room. This is going to be so good when you get it finished. And then when I show them what I'm actually having to go through and what I'm having to do to get it finished, they all understand what a fucking trial and tribulation it's been. Walls have been out by like 10 centimetres, okay? Skirtings and walls had big gaps in them. So the previous owners just did bodgy shit that made it look great. But then when it came to me painting it, I could see how, when it really came to reality of actually painting this room, I could see it was in terrible condition. So I had to scrape everything back, take it back to the bare beginnings. And then I saw these huge gaps everywhere. And then I had to re-stabilise everything, stabilise the walls to the skirtings. I've had to stabilise the window frames to the walls. I've had to stabilise glass panels, like actually glass. There was gaps between the glass. Now you can see up there, I've had to really build up the silicone into the glass to fill up the cracks, between the glass and the frames. And over here, there was big gaps between the glass and the wood. So, but the bodgy paint job that had been done here, like when you first look at a house and it's got the people's furniture in it, you don't sort of see these things. Now, I knew that the wood was, I could see certain things, what I've shared before. I could see there was things I needed to do. I knew that the house was old and it needed some, it would need some extra attention compared to, say, a brand new house. But I just did not realise just how much attention. So this room, this library has basically, there's been many a time when I've just felt just like it was too much for me. I couldn't cope, and I've just kept persevering. I'm so close, guys. This is the last lot of siliconing here. And I sand that back today. When I sand all of this back, I don't know if you can see, but when I actually sand all of this back, then I'm ready for the first coat of paint. But I've had to build up the wood again. There was cracks everywhere. You know, like the wood was really damaged. I actually had to build up the wood again and make it all smooth and nice and good. And I had to fill in all the cracks and all the gaps. And so it's getting there, guys. And then I also, what I've shared with you before, is I've had to fill in like all this. See this window frame here? I had to build up the plaster. There was a gap, like there was about a 5 centimeter gap. You can sort of see it up the top there. I don't know if you can see it, but you can see that I've had to build up the plaster. You can see here, actually, this is a classic. Where are you? What can you see here? You can see here. Can you see that gap there? All right, can you see where I've put the silicone? And can you see the gap between the window, the window frame and the architrave and the skirting? The architrave and the window frame. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. Filling it up, making it strong, and then you can see here, because now I'm no longer taking it back to Jarrah. Now I'll just do a basic sand on here, okay? And I'll just prime it. So now that I know I'm not going to have it back to Jarrah, it simplifies the situation like completely. Because you can see here how I've had to build up. I've had to build up the fill in the cracks with the silicone, fill it all up. And I was originally using this really expensive stuff that was colour match, which was $14 a tub. But now I'm using this stuff here, which is $3 a tub. Last night I went through 2. So what you see from that window frame just there, that basically used up 2 of these. So I've used up like 20 or something of them on this job, including the skirtings down the bottom. So basically perseverance. This room is the diligence and perseverance room. Because, you know, I've shown this to you before, but look, originally when I first started to paint, all I did was paint on top of the cracks. So there was 2 gyp rocks and there was a crack in the middle, and I thought, I'll just put paint on top of it and that will cover it. But no, it didn't. So I had this room painted. It had its 3rd coat on and it was looking amazing, but you could see the cracks. So then I realised, oh no, I've got to put the flushing tape in, and then I've had to do 3 or 4 coats of plaster on top of the flushing tape. And then now that's ready to be sanded and and then I put my first coat on, 2nd and 3rd coat. And obviously down the bottom where I had to fill in all the skirtings, I'll redo that up, blah, blah. So that's not far off. Over here, I'm going to have to put the flushing tape back on. And then basically this little section here, I've decided, no, I'm not going to do a cheap, I'm not going to take shortcuts. I will finish that little area off. And last night I used my expensive silicone that's colour coordinated to do these gaps here, these tiny little gaps that are in here. And so when I sand that back, this can be sanded, and I'm going to seal this frame like I had down here with this skirting that's been done. That's just one coat, because that's how it's going to come up. But the window frames I'm going to paint in a paint colour, but the skirtings and the door frame, even though you can see the old sort of nail hole coming through, I decided I'm not going to worry about that. So I'm going to seal them so you can still see the jar of that, paint the window frame so you won't see jar in them. And yeah, that room will be finished. But what's the point of this live? The point of this live, guys, is I have been suffering from quite extreme depression the last few days. I've been barely able to, there's times when I just can't get out of bed. There's times when I'm collapsing from my grief. And I keep plodding along. Every day I keep plodding along and doing one thing. So this wall here now, this kitchen wall here now is ready to be sanded, okay? And then I can do my first coat of paint on this today. Thank the Lord, okay? This area here still needs a bit of a sand and one more coat, and that's ready. Or maybe even just a sand if I don't want to be a perfectionist. That's ready for painting. This just needs a little bit of a touch up, like what I showed you with the kitchen. It needs a bit of a touch up here where we had the gyprock reaching the chipboard. This is where the old kitchen used to be, and I don't know if you can see the level. It was actually, I've had to build this up and build it up here. That needs more plastering, so that's not ready for painting. But the wall over here that's ready for painting. And I made a decision today because I cannot stand this kitchen as it is at the moment. It is just doing my head in. Like, this is the way I have to live at the moment. This is how I'm trying to, cook and, it's just, I can't, how are you supposed to be healthy when you can hardly even get to the sink, and I'm not complaining, guys, but I've actually been living like this now for a couple of weeks because this is it. This is my kitchen. This is my stove, And the truth of the matter is, because I've been so unwell lately, I've been able to only do a few. Sometimes I'm working really late at night. It's just, and I keep plodding along, going, this is just taking too long. But I have to keep going. What other choice do I have, right? Plod along. And today, I shall be getting the first coat of paint up. By the end of the day, I'll be able to get the second coat of paint up. And in all honesty, because this is just a temporary kitchen for 3 or 4 years, the second coat might just be enough for now. I might be able to accept it, even though I've got perfectionist tendencies. I might just be able to, the second coat might be enough. But I think I showed you the colour I'm using, and basically it's this one here. So I so it's this, I don't know if you can see the colour. I bought it from a garage sale. So it's a really nice charcoal grey. Now when you use dark colours, you often have to use 3 coats or 4 coats. You can't, usually the 2 coats is not. Doesn't matter. If that's the case, I'll do the 3rd coat in the morning. Or maybe I'll stay up late tonight and do the 3rd coat later tonight. But this room here, this wall here, all right, even though that's where the kitchen table is supposed to be, I came up with this idea because I've got to get my kitchen in order. And this other wall where the cupboard and the fridge is supposed to go, it's not ready yet. It needs more plaster, but this wall doesn't. This wall I can paint. Okay, so in my depression, I'm trying to come up with solutions to move me forward because I can't bear this kitchen any longer. And as you can see, all right, I'm still stripping the glue up. So that area over there needs to be accessible, right? So for a fair while longer, right? So I came up with this idea because I just was praying to God and going into a place of, come on, there's got to be a solution that allows me to keep working on this house and have a functional kitchen because I can't bear it one day longer. The kitchen is really depressing me because I need to be able to make healthy food and I want to be able to sit at my table and do writing, and because the library's not ready for writing. So I need to be able to write. I need to be able to do my Bible study. I need to be able to make healthy food. This is really impacting my mental health, okay? So I came up with this brilliant idea, and it's so simple. And this is why I think if we reached out more to people to say, hey, got an idea of how I can get through, someone else would have realised this a week ago. But mind you, back then, this a few days ago, this wall wasn't ready. This only got ready 2 nights ago. Anyways, what I'm going to do temporarily, I'm going to put my fridge and my shelf, my shelf that's eventually going to become part of the built-in kitchen, just for the temporary kitchen, and I'm just going to put them against this wall. Okay, I'm just going to put them against this wall. And actually, after this video, this is what I'll be doing. I'll be moving my fridge and my shelf cupboard against this wall. And what that does immediately, sorry, then no, that's what I was going to do. I went, no, Nadina, paint the wall. Actually, sorry. No, I've got one more day to go. Then I remembered, no, paint the wall, get the wall painted first. Even if you only get 2 coats up, paint the wall. And then tomorrow morning, so not today at all, but tomorrow morning, I will put the fridge and my shelf cupboard against this wall. And what that does is it opens up this floor, which then allows me to work on this floor, set up the kitchen table, put things back into that shelf, put the chairs around the table again. And, I just realised, no, I've got one more day to go. But anyways, I came up with a solution of how to temporarily set it up to get me through this temporary situation before I then put the fridge and the cupboard and install the cupboard, actually connect it, because I'm going to actually be stabilising my built-in cupboard. So I'm going to be stabilising this shelf here, which is a really solid bookcase. I'm going to stabilise it against this wall, screw it into the wall. There's a stud here somewhere. I think it's there. And I'm going to be stabilising it against the wall to strengthen it. And then I'm going to put board behind one side. And that's going to be my permanent built-in kitchen for the next 2 or 3 years while I save up before I get the final kitchen done. And that's going to be major moving forward. I'm just going to feel this most amazing sense of relief when that actually happens. And so behind that cupboard will be the fridge. Okay, the fridge will end up going here. And then I can put my mirrors and my pictures up. And 13 months later, can finally get a picture and a mirror up on the bloody wall, and the place can start to finally become a home after 13 long, hard months. Or has it been longer? We moved in November. So it's 14 long, hard, excruciating months. It has never taken me this long to unpack and set up a home in my life. This has been one of the most arduous experiences I have had in my life, guys. I'm not talking about trauma here because I'm grateful. At all times I've been grateful. No, there's been times when I felt really trapped by this place, like it was too much for my body, too much for my finances. And, my husband in the last 40 months has left twice. Twice he's run away. And both times I know it's because he has not been able to handle my stress from having to do so much. And rather than step up and help me out, or step up and come up with solutions, or step up and say, let's have a holiday, or here, I'm going to give you some extra love. You're just doing so much. I'm so grateful. Let me massage you, or let me make a really healthy dinner for us, or let's have a holiday. Let's have some time out. Let's just give you your brain, your body some time out. Rather than come up with those committed, loving solutions, the times when my stress levels peaked to the highest they could be are the times that he left. And he left me in a terrible situation. And I had nothing but to keep going forward, because what else? What are the other options, guys? What are the other options? Surrender to depression and just do nothing. Suicide, basically, this depression that I've been feeling recently has been upsetting me because I don't want to fall into depression. But at the same time, there was obviously something happening there on a chemical level for me to succumb like that. Then I just had to surrender to God. I just surrendered to God. Waking up at 5:30 but not able to get out of bed until nearly 10:30. 3 mornings in a row now. This is the third morning where I wasn't able to get up because I was too broken. But I learnt this other day that it's not being broken that actually is the hardest to work through, because I was obviously broken when he left the first time, which is the second time, which is 7th of December. He's been gone for a couple of months now. And he just reached out 2 days ago and gave some contact, but the contact isn't anything that, sort of nourished my soul. It actually pummeled me into depression, and I had to do a fair bit of analysing and working on my response and my reaction to the text message. But all it did was validate and confirm what I've been trying to work out and understand and accept, which is that he is potentially a narcissist, which is a really hard thing to accept. That, you got someone in your life that you love with your heart and soul, and you have to sort of accept that they may be a narcissist. Or I always thought it was on the autism spectrum, and so I used to give him lots and lots and lots of allowances and leeways and overcompensating and constantly giving too much and overcompromising, and I allowed bad behaviours and bad habits to become our dynamic. So of course things are going to build up and escalate the way they did, right? So obviously this last 2 months has been the most spectacular, wonderful growth period ever. And I'm so grateful. It propelled me to set up my YouTube channel. It propelled me to dig deep into my borderline personality disorder label that got given, that none of the medical health people are helping me work out, trying to actually work out what that actually really means, and understanding with and also looking at my husband's behaviours and what he's doing, and looking at is there other elements to it apart from potential autism, because God kept giving me these really amazing memes and these really amazing YouTube articles that kept propelling me further and further along the journey of self-development and self-acceptance. And one of those was learning about the dynamic between an empath and a narcissist, and also learning about toxic empath, which is what I've been for a really long time, and learning how to change that into true, authentic, godly empathy. So really looking at myself, like, it's been an incredible journey in self-development. And one thing I had to really learn was it is actually generally through a broken heart that we rebuild. And it's the process of rebuilding and rehealing that's actually can be more, and rebirthing, that is more painful, more exhausting, more challenging. The actual breakdown is straightforward. And I'll equate this to when I was really suicidal, April, May, June last year. It was easier to deal with being suicidal and trying to stop myself from suiciding than it is to have gotten to the next level of self-development grief, which is where I am now, where I'm depressed and above suicidality, feeling the same pain, the same stress, the same anguish, the same heartbreak, the same betrayals, got the same lessons, but on a different level. So the pain and the grief is excruciating. It knocks me out. I'll be standing up and I fall to the ground because it feels like a cannonball has just taken my insides out, and there's this big and I lose all my air, and I can't breathe, and I actually literally can't get air inside me, and everything's tight and Everything inside me is constricted and tight, and at the same time my body literally loses all its strength, and it's unable to hold itself up, and I literally collapse on the floor, and sometimes I can't get up for minutes. And there's other times when I just can't get out of bed. Or I'll be out and about doing something and I just lay down in bed and I can't get up. But not falling to suicidality. And it's actually harder to be not suicidal. It's harder to feel these feelings and knowing, oh, but suicide's not an option. Because suicide's such an easy option, you see. It's such an easy way out. Like, yeah, just going to cut my throat, just going to, it's visualizing all the ways you're going to kill yourself, and then you have to force yourself not to actually do it. Now, that is actually easier to deal with than rebuilding oneself without using the crux of suicidality. And now hear that again, everyone. It is easier to deal with suicidality thoughts and trying to stop oneself from actually committing suicide when they just ruminating over how they want to do it, which is what I was like, and having to force myself not to commit suicide. And that was an extremely scary space to be. That was easier than what I'm going through now. What I'm going through now is such a broken heart, rebuilding bit by bit by bit by bit by bit by bit by bit. And it's excruciating knowing that I'm not going to check out, not committing suicide. Just got to keep going through it, working through it, bit by bit. Try to get that breath in. Drink some water. Oh, you can't get up at the moment, pray. Just for the moment, accept it. Yeah, there's all these things that need to be done that are stressing you out because they're not being done, but just accept it, because right now what you've got to do is just be gentle with your body. Cocoon. 5 senses, I'm safe, beautiful sky. And in all authentic honesty, knowing who to trust, who to reach out to. But most of the time knowing that I've just got to deal with it on my own. It's just me and God. You know what I mean? And that's why this YouTube channel is so important, peoples, because I am not the only one that is living this experience. And it's such an excruciating life for me at the moment. There is nothing really but pain in my brain and my body at the moment. And grief, and I'm rebuilding my new me. I'm just rebuilding me in God's grace, like in full surrender and full trust, just moving on to the next level, moving on to my next chapter, and it's in full trust that I know financial abundance will come to me. I know my mental clarity and my mental well-being and my cognitive ability is going to kick in again. I know that I'm going to feel this incredible sense of peace and contentment and happiness. And you are too. For anyone who this resonates with, you are too. It's just got to surrender in full faith to God. You've just got to trust that the journey is perfect, okay? The journey is perfect, everyone. It's perfect. It's what's meant to be. And it's from our brokenness and our broken heart that we get the full rewards, because it's from that we genuinely really accept that we are God's children and that we are protected, looked after, loved, and that all is perfect, all is well. God's got our back. God's got our back, and we all have a journey, we all have a destiny. And it's when we surrender to that the hardships and the pain just, they don't disappear, sorry. I'm not going to lie. Because of surrendering to our purpose with God doesn't mean we no longer feel pain ever again. But we definitely have a true peace. Okay, I do feel peaceful. I have a deep sense of underlying peace. Trust me. Surrendering to God has allowed peace to come into me that I've never had before. So, it's just that the grief, the pain, the deep pain, which that I'm working through, the rebuilding. That's what discombobulates me a bit and makes me really sort of, you know, but it's just a, yeah, it's hard to explain. I hope this. Anyways, this video is about determination, resilience and determination, and just maintaining, even if it seems like there's small steps. If we're in full surrender to God, and we're in full surrender to our heart, and what it is that we, you know, and we're using, come from a place of love in our heart. If we come from a place of love and being heartful, we get out of our brain, we just let the heart and love be our guiding, you know, and take that time out to just relax, take that time out to just to be in the body as whatever it's going through, in full, in praying though, or not in like not in a quagmire, but in surrendering, in peace. So praying during those times of just when one is really still in cocooning, that's our rebirthing, okay, into our true essence, without all the trauma of our childhood and our worldly values that we've held attachment to, and the worldly trauma bombs and all that. We're transmuting all that, okay? Keep well, my loves, keep well, okay? And again, subscribe. Share my channel if you want. Help me get monetized. That's what God wants. God wants for me to be financially secure, and He wants me to share my story with you all and help inspire everyone. So help me do God's work. Okay. Thank you. Love you. Bye.